Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football Fignuts podcast. This is still Season 8. This is episode 25. It's been a couple weeks, but overall, this has been 336 episodes. I'm Craig.
And I am Britt.
And Britt, we are back because there is some calm after the storm. I screwed that phrase up, but there was nothing going on for the last 3 weeks, but now everyone's on a different team, so we're back.
Yeah, the free agency period just explodes into life. The legal tampering period, as they like to call it initially, which I've never understood. So you want to tell me, before we get into this, you want to tell me that on the very first day of free agency, the first, because signings get announced that first day, right? We all hear first day, this guy's changing teams. You want to tell me that like 9 o'clock in the morning when it became legal to talk to each other, that an agent just happened to call one team and say, 4 years, $100 million, yeah? And the guy on the other end of the phone went, sold, and I'll start writing the press release. There's no way it happens that quick, but it happens that quickly in the announcements.
Yes, it does.
So that tells me, like, we can't talk about free agency yet, but let's say you wanted to sign my client. I would just tell you it's going to take about 4 years and $100 million. Just going to leave that with you. Have a great day.
I'm just going to say, it's like this, yeah. Yep.
It's weird like that, but there is a ton. But let's start where we always start. Craig, what are you drinking today?
So today, because Americans like to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, which is tomorrow. I have a can, which I already opened, of Irish cream porter from Zero Gravity Brewing. So
Zero Gravity.
I think they're in Vermont. Cans downstairs, but
really,
I believe they are in Vermont.
We're doing it live. I don't know them. Yes, Burlington.
They're at Trader Joe's, and the cool thing about Trader Joe's is you can buy single cans. You can break up a 4-pack, 6-pack. They will sell you a single can.
Oh, these are the guys who make Conehead.
Oh, that's right. I knew I remembered their name, but I couldn't remember what they made because I was lazy and didn't look it up.
These are the guys who make Green State Lager and Conehead. Now that I see the cans on my screen, that makes perfect sense. So what is it you have?
I have the what's the full name? Irish Cream Porter Nitro.
Irish Cream Porter. Have you tried it yet?
Yes, I have been sipping on it. It looks like a Guinness. If I just handed you the glass without you drinking it, you would think it was a Guinness. But it's a little. This is sweeter and it's a little more chocolatey, but not. It's not. It is not a dessert beer like what Two Roads makes. Right. It's an Irish stout, but this is sweeter than say a Guinness would be.
Oh, I see. It's described on their website as a vanilla nitro porter.
Yes. I get more chocolate than vanilla, but yes. It's good. It's smooth.
That's interesting. Very interesting. I'm drinking diet soda because Craig and I went to Two Roads last night, and I had approximately 6 beers. So that's not true. I had 5. I checked my receipt. I had 5.
Over the course of like 5 hours. 5 hours?
Well, we were there. We got there at like
You got there 3? At 3.
We were there for about 4.5 hours. But don't forget, I stopped drinking the last 2 hours. So it was really 6 beers in about 2.5 to 3 hours.
All right, so we'll say 3 hours.
So that's the problem. The problem was I drank a lot in a short period of time. I felt fine because my wife immediately was like, this is water, and it is your new best friend, and it is all you'll be drinking the rest of the night. And I was like, okay, I hear you. So I obviously made the switch to water, so I was fine this morning. But I slept like crap last night, man.
Yeah, that'll do that. That'll happen.
Yeah, anyway. All right, so as we said, free agency. We're just going to talk about some free agency trends today. People, old faces, new places, some people sticking around in interesting places. Let's just jump right in. There's one signing that has absolutely jumped out to me as like, what in the holy hell were you thinking?
Okay.
And it's Sam Darnold to Seattle. 3 years. $100.5 million and 55 of it guaranteed.
I mean, good for Sam.
But really?
Yeah, I get this is my problem with that signing. As much as I enjoyed watching Sam Darnold last year have a very good excuse me, a very good season compared to his years in the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
He had a phenomenal, one of the best receivers in the league, so that definitely helped him a lot, considering where he came from. But my problem with this is, I know the Vikings can't say out loud they want to give up on the quarterback they drafted, because I don't know if he could play now. I've read reports constantly since he's been hurt that his rehab is taking a lot longer than they expected to. So I don't know how he's going to be. I don't think the Vikings know how he's going to be, but I don't think they can give up on him either now. So I mean, this makes sense for Sam. Like, if I was the Vikings, I would have tried to keep him another year as insurance. But I get why they didn't. But Seattle. The problem for me is Seattle they just got rid of all their receivers. So Seattle's like in a complete rebuild, and I don't know which Sam Darnold we're going to get. The Jets Sam Darnold or the Vikings Sam Darnold?
Well, there's a bunch of problems with this. Number one, to your point, I just looked it up online, and ourlads.com anticipates the backup quarterback now is going to be Brett Rippon for Vikings, for Minnesota.
Dear. Oh, dear.
So if you need to go find somebody. And I'm going to jump really quickly. There are rumors, because he's on my list of people to talk about too. We're going to get to Aaron Rodgers in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I just lost my train of thought. Oh, Aaron Rodgers hasn't signed anywhere yet. And one of the rumors going around is that he's waiting on the Vikings.
Yeah, he's going to do the Brett Favre tour.
Really, right?
Yep.
He's doing it in a different order, but yes. But here's the thing. So you're Minnesota, and you've got J.J. McCarthy. And like you said, they're pretty much married to him, but who knows if he's actually going to be able to play next year. Aaron Rodgers ain't coming to back him up. So you're signing Aaron Rodgers. You're bringing him in to start until McCarthy is back or you move on from McCarthy. So this tells me the Vikings have no clue what to make of McCarthy. Rodgers is looking around and going, the only teams that are interested in me stink. If I want another shot at the playoffs in my career, it's going to have to be with Minnesota, but Minnesota doesn't know what it wants to do. And so it's this weird kind of situation. And it's the same reason why Darnold didn't want to stay there. Darnold didn't leave because he hated Minnesota. Darnold left because he had an opportunity to start in Seattle.
Right.
That's the reason he shifted. So yeah, but I mean, the amount, and it's not a huge contract, but $55 million guaranteed is not a small amount of money in the football world for somebody he's not the answer. All right, let me ask you this point blank.
Yep.
He's replacing Geno Smith.
Yep.
At this point, do you think Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Geno Smith?
I would say no. I would say I would give the edge to Geno just based on athleticism. But the problem is he's going to a team that has now removed the receivers that Geno Smith was playing so well with. So I don't know how Seattle is going to be like in general.
But that brings me to the next.
Although they did just sign someone, which I'm assuming you're going to bring up,
is Cooper Kupp.
Yes,
who is broken. The segue there, who is broken, but the segue there is key because while they're giving $55 million guaranteed to Sam Darnold, they only gave Kupp $45 million over 3 years
because he's broken.
But Darnold, what's this? I mean, and is everybody going to see? I know they were parting ways with Lockett, right?
Yep, they got rid of Lockett and what's his name?
They cut ties with DK.
Yeah, he's gone too.
Did they really?
Yeah. And now their number one receiver now is what's his name that everyone used his initials. Yeah, him.
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yep.
Where did DK land, or is he still floating out there?
No, he went to the Steelers.
How did I miss this? Oh, that poor man.
He was traded for a second-round pick this year and a late round swap.
He did not. He wasn't a free agent. He got sent there.
Yes.
Oh, that's terrible. Poor man.
He signed a 4-year, $132 million extension with Pittsburgh.
Why? Pittsburgh is bad.
And they just signed Mason Rudolph to a 2-year, $8 million deal. $8 $8 million guaranteed. Sorry, $8 million deal with $4.5 million guaranteed. So yeah.
Wow. And George Pickens has got to be pissed. I'm already seeing an article from Steelers Wire.
I'm sure he's mad, and he's just gonna pout and not play. We all know.
From yesterday, headline: George Pickens not among Steeler teammates who welcomed DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh.
Duh. Yeah. He just does not want to be there. You know how yeah. You know how he said that Steelers just didn't want Harris anymore? Yeah. I think with Pickens, it's the other way around. He just does not want to be there at all.
Because here's the thing, and we've said this a million times on this podcast. I think Mike Tomlin is one of the worst player development ethical coaches in the league. His players routinely go to other teams and flame out spectacularly because they don't know how to behave in a locker room, because Tomlin does not enforce any sort of real locker room accountability. If you win, if you perform, you get away with murder in Pittsburgh. That's it. That's why Le'Veon Bell struggled when he left. That is why Antonio Brown struggled. Antonio Brown didn't have any issues with his mental illness while he was in Pittsburgh. Nobody talked about how crazy Antonio Brown was. Are you telling me he wasn't crazy and he wasn't dealing with the issues that we've seen him deal with the last couple of years when he was a Steeler? No, it was hush-hush because he could get away with it because he was catching the ball. They don't do it. Their culture is one of excuses as long as you win. Yeah. And I've always disliked Pittsburgh for that. Always. So why are we shocked? The only thing that's shocking is George Pickens is doing it there and not waiting to go somewhere else and do it first. That's the only thing that's shocking about the whole thing. So I feel DK Metcalf is now going to have to compete for targets. I think Pickens is more of a threat to his target share than Lockett was. He's going to have to. Who's even their quarterback? Who's the Steelers quarterback?
Yeah, I don't know now because one of their quarterbacks is
Mason
now.
Rudolph?
Yeah, he might be their starter technically.
Okay. There are rumors. Okay, this is today. This is as of March 16, 2025.
Yep.
There are rumors from high-ranking people, including like Florio over at NBC, that they might sign Joe Flacco.
That traitor.
If your solution at quarterback is Joe Flacco, that's your first choice in 2025, then it does not make a difference who your wide receivers are.
You know, I think because they were in the running to try to sign Rodgers, but now I don't think he's going to go there. So I think this is their option C and D option for quarterback.
Newsweek is now reporting the Vikings have a person they would rather have besides Rodgers. I'm scrolling through this article. Literally came out 3 hours ago.
Is it Joe Flacco?
It would be hysterical if it was. I'm just reading. The Athletic is reporting Rodgers might choose to retire rather than play for the Steelers or the Giants.
Well, I mean, would you want to play for either of them?
No, I hear you. I'm scrolling through. This is one of those clickbait articles where you have to scroll 700 lines down before you find out.
And it's like the last sentence.
It doesn't say who it is.
Interesting.
There have been reports that the Vikings are considering the option, meaning another player, but nothing further. Who else is it? It would have to be Russ.
What if Jerry Jones trades Dak?
To Pittsburgh?
Yes. I don't know. I feel like this year Jerry Jones is going to do something like the day before or the day of the draft. I don't know. Just a weird feeling about this year's draft that the Cowboys are going to try to do something that only Jerry Jones would do.
I'm also seeing an ad that Aaron Rodgers is doing a show on Netflix.
Maybe? I don't know.
By the way, can we stop talking about the legend that is Aaron Rodgers? He won one Super Bowl. One.
And he was MVP, was he twice or once?
Was he?
Well, he's definitely at least once. It might have been twice. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. This might be out already. I think it came out in December. It's called Enigma. Aaron Rodgers Enigma.
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I'm scared of it. All right, moving on. So we just talked about Aaron Rodgers. So I'm crossing him off my list.
Okay.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. Yep.
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, cashing big checks.
Yep. Bless you.
Thank you. Are they going to be the only two people on the team this year?
Um, they might be. I
Like,
mean,
are you
they
accepting
re-signed
volunteers for the rest of the line?
they re-signed Mike Gesicki to a 3-year deal, so that's good. He had a good year last year, and the Bengals do need a capable tight end that can catch, and he was pretty good last year.
How is all of this affecting their cap?
I haven't checked actually.
I'm going right now.
And your buddy's back on the Bengals. Perrine's back.
Which one? Who?
Perrine. Sound J. Perrine.
You know, I like that. The Chiefs re-signed Kareem Hunt this week, which is a very minor signing, but it's clear they're gonna roll with Pacheco and Hunt. So Samaj Perrine has tremendous. He can still be a very strong contributor, but it was not the right place for him. So Cincinnati Bengals have cap liability of $273 million. They have cap space of 26.8 remaining. $163 million of their cap is spent on offense.
And it showed last year because their defense was made of tissue paper. So
their top 3 base salary guys are in order: Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase.
Yep.
The next name down is Trey Hendrickson. I don't know who that is.
He is one of their top defensive players. He's a defensive end. He's the one that requested a trade or to look at other teams, so they let him, which I think is what is Cincinnati's doing, because I think they're assuming no one's going to want to pay him like whatever number that he wants or and just rightly deserves. So I think they're doing that, so he'll come back and be like, hey, I still want to play. And they're like, okay, here's this much money for another year. That's what I'm assuming they're banking on.
Those 3 guys account for over $90 million on the cap.
Yeah.
Not in actual salary.
T. Higgins is playing on a non-exclusive franchise tag, too. And don't forget, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase have the same agent as well.
And Higgins is making more than Chase right now. His base salary is $26.1 million. And Jamar Chase is $21.8, but Chase is still on his rookie deal, isn't he?
He is. So this season would be the end of his rookie contract. So
that's going to be a problem. You can't hand T. Higgins $26 million and then tell Jamar Chase, we ain't got money to pay you next year.
Oh, well, they already signed Jamar Chase to that deal, so he's fine.
I mean, but he's going to be fine making $5 million less a year than T. Higgins?
No, it's only for this year. It's not going forward.
For this year, okay.
Yeah. That's because he's on the franchise tag, so that's what it's like $26.2 million for this year for a franchise tag.
Is Chase a free agent after this year?
No, they signed him to a multi-year deal already.
Because I'm not
Higgins is the one.
On the 20...
Higgins is the one that doesn't have a contract yet.
So I'm on over the cap, and I click 2026, and he's not on the list.
Maybe they didn't update it because that happened this week. So
okay, that would be why. That would make a lot of sense. So is this, first off, who's your running back? I don't even know who your running back is anymore.
Oh, it's God damn, why did my brain just stop?
Zach Moss?
No. He got hurt.
He's still on the roster.
It's Chris Brown.
Down your... Oh, okay. I Cincy is a very talented team.
They are.
But they're putting all their money in
Mike Brown
one bucket.
Is not a talented owner. So that's kind of where it's at.
I feel like Cincy's looking at the Chiefs the last couple of years and saying, well, the Chiefs only had 1 or 2 good defenders and a bunch of, just a guys, but they had Kelsey and they had Hill and they had Mahomes. Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to stack our offense, and if we win every game 35-32, it's fine.
They tried that last year and it didn't work. That's the problem.
They
lost like 7 games, 8 games, they were by like less than a touchdown because the defense was just like, yeah, we'll just let this guy score.
What does Cincy have to do to be successful this year?
They need a
You're
consistent...
a Cincy fan. You know more about it.
Their defense. Literally, they need their defense to be ranked in the middle. That's it. That's all they need. That's it. They need their defense to be ranked
this year?
Like 30, 28, somewhere around there.
So bottom 5. Bottom 5 of the league somewhere.
Yes. Wow. They need it to be like between 11 and 15 and they're going to the playoffs. They're probably winning the division if their defense is ranked like 11th.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Under the heading of I don't know where I play anymore. Oh wow! Breaking news: New York Post is reporting Derek Hennady from the Kansas City Chiefs is going to the Jets in free agency.
Oh, good for him.
Within the last hour, this news broke. Not good for me. I like Derek Hennady.
Was he good?
Hennady was one of those guys. You would not hear his name an entire game. Like, it would be all the regular guys you'd hear about, Chris Jones, all those guys. You'd hear about the guys in the secondary, blah, blah, and you wouldn't hear Derek Hennady's name at all. And then it's 3rd and 3 in a tie game, and it's a must get. And out of nowhere, Derek Hennady explodes through a hole that no one else saw and wrecks the quarterback.
Oh, all right.
Like, once a game, this would happen.
Yeah, that's good. You need that.
or the running back hits a hole and it looks like he's got daylight, and then all of a sudden he just falls over. And when they look in, Derek Hennady has his foot. He's one of those guys that he is tremendously talented, but he didn't get a lot, in my opinion anyway. He did not get a lot of attention on the Chiefs, but he did his job really, really well. Sometimes much like offensive linemen, if you do your job well, you probably aren't remembered.
True.
And that was when I used to umpire softball games. That was the head of the umpiring used to be, if they don't remember your name, you did your job really well.
Yep. Unlike the Chiefs left tackle last year,
Jawan Taylor.
Yes.
Who they've signed a new left tackle. I'm waiting for them to release Jawan Taylor. I can't wait. So excited.
Do you realize if they move him to guard, he can't do all those tricks he does?
No, he's going to be... he also can't be beat to the outside because he's slow as F, because there's somebody standing next to him.
True. That's a valid point.
But this is a big loss for the Chief, and it's a nice gain for the Jets. He is going to be a nice veteran presence in the center, and he is going to be... He is an enabler. I'll put it to you this way: Derek Hennady is an exceptional defensive player. He just doesn't get the attention he deserves because he's one of those guys that enables other people to make the big play in most cases.
Yeah.
So that's really good for him. But the Jets also have another new friend, and his name is Justin Fields.
They do. I called it. Told you. I said it.
So Justin Fields goes to New York. His third team in his short career. What is this, his fourth year?
I think so. I think this is his fourth year, actually. 2 years, $40 million with $30 million guaranteed.
This actually would be his fifth season.
Oh. Where'd he go?
His first year was...
Is it Bears?
He was in the Bears in 2021, 2022, and 2023.
Yep.
And then last year he was the Steelers.
Oh, I thought he went somewhere else in between the two. I guess not.
Nope, but just between those two spots. But here's the thing about Justin Fields. I'm not a big believer either. But outside of his rookie year, he's never thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. This year in the Steelers in limited play, he threw 5 touchdowns and only 1 pick. He had a 93.3 passer rating.
When he was playing, he wasn't bad. When he was in there, I mean,
he made 65% of his passes.
He made a few mistakes, but I don't. Compared to how he was on the Bears, I'm sorry, Sean, not that you're going to listen to this, but he played well, considering.
Yes. Yes, he's not. And here's the problem, and here's where I get upset about this. I don't think Justin Fields is a bad player. I think he has some decision making issues, but he's very talented. I feel like he's a hard worker and he's dedicated, but he keeps going to teams. He's not going to get better on the Jets. There's nothing about the New York Jets that says this guy is going to improve as a quarterback here.
No, I mean, unless they hire some type of quarterback coach guru, probably not.
Who is? All right, let's look it up.
Who's the Jets quarterback coach?
New York Jets coaching staff, because I don't even know who their head coach is anymore.
Oh, you know who it is.
Oh, that's right. It's Aaron Glenn.
It's Aaron Glenn, former Jet.
It's a defensive head coach.
Yeah, so their defense, again, will still be pretty good.
Their offensive coordinator is a man named Tanner Engstrand.
I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
Who's their quarterback coach, though?
Oh, quarterback coach, eh? Tight end, linebacker, wide receiver. Charles London. He's been in the league for 16 years.
All right, so he might know what he's doing, hopefully. Maybe.
He's been a passing game coordinator. Last year he was with the Seahawks.
All right. Gino had a good year. All right.
Gino had a good year.
Okay. All right. It could work.
But Fields ain't throwing to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett.
No, I mean the Jets do have capable receivers, but I mean they don't have what's his name anymore who left?
Oh, Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
Where did he end up going?
Let's see. He signed somewhere.
Oh, he went to the Rams.
Oh, that's right. He's replacing Cup.
That's interesting. Let's have that conversation really quick. Devontae Adams to the Rams.
Yep.
He goes from an old white guy throwing him the ball to an old white guy throwing him the ball.
Yep. Unless Jimmy Garoppolo gets in, Matt Stafford gets hurt, and then Jimmy's the next one up.
Is Jimmy their backup?
Yes. He signed a 1-year deal with them for $4.5 million.
I'm
sorry, $13.5 million, but $4.5 is guaranteed.
What is this from Yahoo Sports? Oh, wow. Apparently Puka Nacua changed his jersey number.
Okay.
So that Adams could have 17.
Oh, interesting.
And Adams had to go out and put out a quote for everybody out there that want to hate me for making them buy new jerseys. I did not tell him. I did not pay him. I didn't do anything. It was out of the kindness of his heart. He wore it in college. So everybody out there with a Puka Nacua jersey with number 17 on, it's like, motherfucker.
Oh, nice. There you go. Collector's item.
Now I got to go buy a 12. Oh, my God.
Really quick, going back to the Seahawks, you know who else they signed?
Yeah.
They signed the law. They signed the law office.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
Yeah.
How long till he gets cut?
Probably October.
I'm going to go week 6. I'll put a number on it right now. Week 6. Week 6, he gets cut. So, all right, so moving on. Speaking of former Seahawks, a lot of Seahawks news this week.
Yeah, a lot of people moved with the Seahawks.
Yeah. Their old quarterback is still unsigned. Russell Wilson is out there. Nobody wants to let Russ cook. If you're Cleveland or the Giants,
oh God,
why wouldn't you go after him though? Are they seriously sitting this much and waiting that they win the Aaron Rodgers lottery? And do you want to win the Aaron Rodgers lottery at this point?
Well, I mean, I'm sure Cleveland does because they might as well. Because what else is Cleveland going to do?
This feels like Russ is going to end up. I bet you. I'm going to go out on a limb here. This is my prediction, and I'm just basing this on gut feeling. Russ doesn't sign anywhere. Russ sits his ass at home on week 1, and then somebody takes a major season-ending injury.
Yep.
In the first 3 or 4 weeks, and all of a sudden Russ comes in to save a franchise. Like Super Bowl caliber team. Off the top of my head, immediately the 3 names that come to mind are Mahomes, Burrow, and Josh Allen. One of them goes down, and all of a sudden Russ Wilson is walking through the door.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's the new Gardner Minshew.
He is, who is now a Chief.
I am so happy about that, except for the fact that everywhere he goes, he ends up starting at least one game because the quarterback gets hurt.
That's about
other than that jinx. I love.
Do you know who else the Chiefs signed a quarterback?
Who's that?
Bailey Zappi. He
can hold the clipboard.
He's your third string quarterback. They re-signed him.
Go make Patrick a sandwich. Because that's essentially all he's going to be good for. I mean, yeah, it's. Sorry. He's there because they need a guy. They need a guy there, but I love, and Andy Reid has consistently done this throughout his time with the Chiefs. He's brought in veteran, older, I've seen a lot of things guys to back up Mahomes. This year it was what's his name from Philadelphia. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? The one who could have won a Super Bowl, but then got hurt the year they won the Super Bowl the first year.
Carson Wentz.
Thank you. Carson Wentz has seen a lot of crap. He's been a starter. He's backed up. He's been around a long time. He knows stuff. You bring him in. I don't think, and Patrick is not, because you'll see him on the sidelines all the time, but there's always, the second stringer is always somewhere within 5 feet of him when he's looking at those plays on the tablet. And last year, there were several times they would show him after a drive, and he'd be sitting there, and he's talking, and Andy Reid's on one side of him, and Carson Wentz is on the other. So So I love Gardner Minshew coming in there because I think Gardner Minshew has seen a lot of different situations and he is a well-traveled and experienced player. It's like having another coach. And I think that's good for somebody like Pat. I think that's good for younger, and I don't even think you can call Patrick younger quarterback anymore, but for quarterbacks that are big and tough, it's good to have somebody in the wings who can interpret things on the sideline and who you also know can go in a pinch.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked Russ is nowhere. I'm shocked.
For now, because, the Browns signed Kenny Pickett for some reason. So, I mean, I'm assuming that's why they're not going after Russ. And I think the Giants are waiting on Aaron Rodgers to decide what to do. Because the Giants are also a dumpster fire, but not like the Browns. The Giants are just inept, I think.
I'm gonna say it now. Kenny Pickett is the new Dan Orlovsky.
He is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You know that. Technically.
Yeah, he was a backup in the Eagles.
Technically, he is a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
He's got a ring. He's got one more ring than I do. But everybody keeps giving this guy chances, but there's nothing to justify it. Dan Orlovsky had one good season at UConn and took them to their first bowl game win ever. Okay, but they didn't win like the Fiesta Bowl. They won the Meineke Car Care Bowl.
I love the name of bowl games. It's ridiculous.
It was the Midas or Meineke Car Care Bowl. It wasn't like they won a major thing. And then all of a sudden he gets drafted late in there. He plays a couple of games for Detroit, and then he plays with like 6 other teans, and he just keeps going places.
Doesn't he actually have a Super Bowl ring for being a backup somewhere?
He might. Dan Orlovsky Super Bowl wins.
I think he has one.
Oh, I stand corrected. It was the Motor City Bowl.
Oh, okay.
The Motor City Bowl. All right, I'm pulling up his stuff here. Connecticut, blah, blah, blah. He's 41. He was in Detroit. Then he was in Houston. He was in Tampa in 2012 and 2013.
Maybe Tampa. Was that one of Tampa's years of the Super Bowl?
Tampa Bay Super Bowl wins.
I know it's been a while, but I still have no concept of time anymore.
No, 2003 was the Chucky Bowl.
Okay.
And 2021 was the Brady Bowl.
Yeah, so maybe he doesn't have a ring. All right.
So no, he does not have a ring. But yeah, Kenny Pickett's that kind of guy. Like, why do people? Russell Wilson is sitting right there.
Yeah. And he, again, just like Fields, he didn't play bad last year.
Russ? No, he wasn't terrible.
Well, he did pretty good. I had him on my fantasy team as insurance because he wasn't doing bad.
That Steeler team was bad.
The Steeler team was bad. Russ himself
made the playoffs. But they made the playoffs, Britt. They played the easiest schedule in the league the first 7 weeks. Didn't they start off 6-1?
I think so.
And then have to back into the playoffs?
As they usually do.
They lost like 7 out of their last 9.
They're a constant 8 to 9 win team.
But I can't. It doesn't make sense to me. The mythos of the Steelers doesn't make sense to me. Like one of you guys on the podcasting thread sent me a video this week of it was a SpongeBob routine where they award Mike Tomlin the award for doing absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Yeah, it was you. It was a very funny video, but and I think it was Cinch immediately was like, when are they going to fire this guy? They don't fire their coaches. He's only the 4th coach in the last 100 years.
That within itself is crazy. That's just bananas.
It was him. It was Cower. Yep. Cower took over for. Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Damn it. I can see the dude's face, but I can't think of his name. Damn it.
List of Pittsburgh Steelers head coaches. Here we go. Okay. So Mike Tomlin's been there since 2007.
Right.
Cower was there for 14 years before that, up to 1992. Mm-hmm. Chuck Noll.
There we go. Yep.
Was there for 22 years.
Yep.
Since 1969. 31 and now 24. That's 55 years. They've had a total of 3 head coaches.
That is bananas.
in 54 years. Now, before that, some guy named Bill Austin was there for 2 years, and there was a guy a year before, one year there before him, and then the guy before him was for 7 years. And like between 1933 when they were founded and 1968, so that's 35 years, they had 13 head coaches.
That's still crazy.
But now they've had 3 in the last 25. That's insane. Well, Tomlin does win. His win percentage is the best of anybody who's ever coached it. That is true. He has a better win percentage than Bill Cowher. That is 100% true.
Yeah. And how many Super Bowls has Mike Tomlin won?
But Mike Tomlin is the only of the 3 coaches I just named who has a losing playoff record. Chuck Noll, 16-8 in the playoffs. Bill Cowher, 12-9. Mike Tomlin, 8-11.
That's not good.
8-11. So I don't know about that, man. I don't know. It don't feel right. It don't feel right. All right, last one, and then we'll go to final thoughts. It appears that Kirk Cousins is going to stay in Atlanta. They ate the roster bonus, a $10 million roster bonus. They had to pay him because they couldn't trade him. I don't understand what Atlanta's thinking.
I don't know. I think they regret their choices, and now they're like trying to just deal with it.
That's absolutely it. I mean, there's no other possible explanation for what we're seeing. How else do you explain them spending all this money to woo him from the Vikings and then drafting his successor that year?
Yeah, the Falcons doing that completely screwed up everyone's draft. No one other than the Falcons thought they were going to draft a quarterback in that spot.
Yes, because they should not have.
No, I wish I knew the logic behind it. Like, did they think Kirk was going to get hurt, or they were going to get rid of him, or did they look at the next 3 years of quarterbacks in college and be like, we don't like any of these dudes, get this one? Like, I don't know.
I think they tried to outbrain themselves.
Yeah, that happens. It happens to all of us.
Alex Smith was the quarterback of the Chiefs when they drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And started the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And had a tremendous year, had a great year, and had a good year the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chiefs went out and got Mahomes because they realized Smith's only got 2 or 3 more years. That we need to start getting his successor in line.
Right.
I think literally the Falcons sat there and said, well, we're set for the next 2 or 3 years, but this guy, we get him now. Wait, what? And they clearly didn't have any conversation with Kirk Cousins beforehand because Cousins was pissed.
Yeah.
Because Cousins was in the media saying, I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yep.
So Atlanta is on a race to the bottom. They look at the tire fire that is Cleveland and say, why can't our tire fire be bigger?
I think this is going to sound weird, but a weird theory I have in my head about why teams do the things they do is because, we've been, all of us collectively, we've been following football for a long time now. And the majority of the teams all have the same owners. And I think like Jerry Jones and what's his name that owns the Falcons, Art something?
Oh, Arthur Blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who owns Home Depot.
A few other dudes. They are all much older now than when we started paying attention to football way back when. And I think they are now desperate to try to do whatever they think is going to get them into a Super Bowl. And I think that's the mindset these teams have, even like Mike Brown of the Bengals. He's like freaking late 70s by now. And I think it's affecting how they run their teams, because you look at look at the Kansas City Chiefs, for example. Like, how old's Hunt's not that old now because he's the offspring of the original Hunt.
Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or like, and you look what the Jets did with Aaron Rodgers. Woody's like, I don't know, again, 70 something. So I think they're all grasping at whatever the hell they think is going to get them into a Super Bowl, and I think it's starting to show by the decisions they're making, but that's just me.
The sooner owners, and I think if you said this to, if you said what I'm about to say to anybody who's a head coach or a GM, they'd be like, well, duh, of course, we know that, but they don't behave. This statement is very simple. One move never wins you a championship. There's never a situation where you bring in one player or one coach and everything just falls into place. It is a series of moves, one after another, that have to compile. Again, I'm a Chief fan. I look at it. The Chiefs' rise to prominence started when Andy Reid decided to not fly to Denver and instead fly to Kansas City.
That's right. Wasn't he going to Denver and decided to not go after going to Kansas City?
He was on his way to Denver. He had a changeover flight. He was gonna go meet them like a Tuesday. He was flying out on the weekend. As the story goes, he got a phone call from the Hunts saying, "You're stopping over in Kansas City anyway. Let's have dinner." And after that dinner, he canceled his flight and his interview with Denver and signed to coach the Chiefs. Did that win them their Super Bowls? No. Nope. He then drafted Patrick Mahomes. Did that win them the Super Bowls? Nope. Hill, Kelsey, all the guys. It's pieces, but it's a series of thought out methodological decisions, and they're not always right. Cough, cough. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
Mecole Hardman.
Oh dear.
There are still misses out there all the time, but it is not. I feel like the league will sit there and go, we understand that you have to make good decisions all the time. But at the same time, then they go and they do something like this, where they're like, we're replacing Kirk Cousins literally 6 months after we signed him. It makes it look to people like you or me like they have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
And what else can you take from it? What else do you take from it?
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. That's what happens, and that's the appearance it gives.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the end of my free agent news for today. Let's roll the final thoughts. Craig, what's on your mind today as we go into the off season proper?
Final thoughts is, it's March, and that means it's going to be April before you know it, and the draft will be here. So if you're like Sean, start buying your magazines now.
Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. You know what we should do? We should do an NFL draft party this year.
All right. I mean, it's all weekend now.
Yeah, let's get the contributors together on like Saturday or something.
All right.
Get together, somebody's living room. We'll play some board games. We'll drink some beer. We'll watch the draft.
Yeah, that works for me. Tell Sean we're taking over his house.
Could do it at Sean's house.
That's my vote.
We'd have to deal with the dog.
Yeah, we can just give the dog treats. It's fine.
Oh my God. Oh no, the dog's on a diet. I don't think I told you this part yesterday.
Oh, she is?
Really, really quick. They took the dog to her annual vet. That dog weighed in at 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way that dog weighs 50 pounds. They're like, well, she should weigh like 44. And I'm like, okay, so yeah, in theory, she's overweight. I get it. I look at that dog. That dog is a fucking truck. It moves like the goddamn wind.
She's solid. For lack of a better word.
She is fast. She is energetic. We took her to the dog park yesterday. She was all over the place. I think we told you that part. She's like, we got to the car and she was like, I don't care who's here anymore. Just open the car door. Like I crouched down. I was like, come say goodbye. Raven is Sean's dog, our friend Sean's dog. It's like, Raven, come say goodbye. She looked at me and then looked at Sean and then looked at the door. Like, why is this not open yet? It's like, okay, you're tired. We get it. But anyway. All right. So my final thought, Craig's talking about March. You know what else happens in March? The basketball tournament.
That's right.
This is going to be a really good tournament this year. We're going to get a different champion this year, guys. UConn stinks, and I'm a UConn fan.
Yeah, I mean, they're like I said before we started. I always do one sheet with them winning, just because. But yeah.
Well, and tonight is Selection Sunday. We're recording this on Selection Sunday. The brackets come out in about 3 hours.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah, I think the selection show is at 6 or 6:30. But yeah. So and me, like a dumbass, I booked a D&D session for tonight.
Oh, whoops.
So I'm going to be online playing D&D because I love dorky shit. And I love D&D. I love playing D&D. I'm terrible at it, but I love the game. And I'm gonna be like, huh? Is it my turn? Because I'm reading brackets. I'll be sitting there and be like, I'll cast my spell of Mount St. Mary's. No, that's not a spell. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna use the wand of North Carolina. I'm gonna end up screwing it up and pissing off our DM, but this is a go enjoy basketball, baseball in a couple of weeks. Go. I think the best thing the average fan can do is decompress after the football season that just was.
True. It's very true.
Go for a walk. Touch some grass. That's my final thought. We'll still be here. We'll still be checking in every couple of weeks and giving you any news that we have, so you can come and listen. But go do something fun. Go play D&D. Go walk with the dog. Just do it. The other thing you should do is leave us a review wherever you found us. Usually it's on Apple, but anywhere you found us, please leave us a review. It helps the podcast a great deal. Also, you can reach out to us. We are fignutsdfs@gmail.com. We are no longer on Twitter, at least I don't think we are. And Facebook is run by a guy I don't really care. So we've kind of diminished our social presence. Yeah. When all the social media guys are sitting at the inauguration of a president I don't really care for, I'm less inclined to utilize their websites. Just saying. So reach out to us via email. We would love to hear from you. All right, Craig, another episode in the books. We'll be back in a week or two. I'm not committing to every week during this cycle.
No, until the draft happens at the very least. Yeah, exactly.
The freaking source texted us. The freaking source texted us and said, I think the free agent news is starting to slow down. They just announced the signing of Cooper Rush. I'm just like, okay. Yeah, when that's breaking news, then it's getting quiet. So, all right. But until we speak to you next, enjoy yourself. My name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And we are the Football Fignuts Podcast. And hi, Deb.